Hi there. I'd like to talk to you for a minute about a concept or an idea I've been mulling over in my head for a little while that I think will be really helpful when we think about the conversations we have in person or online. And that is the Christian idea of history and church history specifically. There are three general camps, at least as far as I can tell, very general camps, and they go a little bit like this. The first camp is, I would call the Great Tradition camp. It's the idea that tradition is good. Tradition is on par with Scripture. Tradition, the church has grown, and its tradition has led it as Christ expected it to go. And these camps are generally the Catholic Church, Roman Catholic Church, and the Eastern Orthodox Church. And their conversations are that, look, we have the perfect tradition, you don't. And the proof of that is if you really had perfect tradition, you'd be with us rather than being a schismatic. And then to everyone else, they say that your church can't possibly be true because you don't have the great tradition. The other form that's actually really popular is the idea of restoration. Now, restoration became popular in the 1800s, where the idea is that the tradition and most of what the church was supposed to be was lost fairly early, and that the traditions of man, the traditions of the church are basically bad, and we have to go back to the scriptures and restore everything that was lost. And a lot of times this is where you have the extreme views of this in Mormonism and in the Watchtower, but then you have other views of this, something like the Church of Christ and all the different groups affiliated with that, are generally in this camp as well. The last view of history is that of the Reformed. The idea that tradition is good. Tradition is something that we should hold on to, but it should be tested by Scripture. The problem with the great tradition churches is that because they elevated Scripture and tradition on the same level and created a dual source of doctrine, therefore tradition can't really be questioned. But as a Reformed person, we believe that all of our traditions should be tested by Scripture. And if they don't agree with the plain meaning of the text, the clear meaning of the text, then they should be done away with, which is why there are differences. We can accept church history as it's been growing and changing and all these other kinds of things. We understand that all the different controversies and all the different things were based upon the Word. We understand that it took time for all the church to have all the Scripture. We understand that it took time for these things to develop. And then when they overdeveloped, they needed to be pruned back, which is what Reformation is all about. The fact is, it was the tradition of the church that got the reformers before Martin Luther and after Martin Luther thinking about what are we actually doing? What is the basis on why we do the things we do? And therefore, they brought about reform. So those are the three basic groups in my estimation. The Great Tradition, everything is a-okay. The church is the way it ought to be. The Restoration, where the church was lost. The traditions of man made it null. We must restore these things. And then the Reformation, where tradition is good, but it must reform back to the Scriptures. Anyways, if you appreciate that, please give a like, share with a friend. I'm currently reading through the 1689 London Baptist Confession, paragraph at a time. If you'd like to be a part of that, please give a follow. And if you have any comments, leave a comment.